than that for the first bolt. Okay, good. So the measures of variation, which is the plus and minus on the measure of central tendencies, have a wide range of applications, which we'll be looking at, okay, as we go forward, okay, as we go on in this course. Very good. So subsequently, we'll be looking at measures of central tendency to do the calculations, and then measures of variations, how to also calculate them. But key thing you have to take note of is we'll be estimating a number of values like the mean, the median, the standard deviation, the variance of the data. They are all parameters, okay, of the data distribution, okay, and they help us to describe some patterns, some nature about the distribution of the data, either nature of the skewness, how skewed the distribution is, or how dispersed the data is, or what is happening at the center of the data. Okay. Any question? Any question? Here we didn't have much calculations. If there is any question, yeah, Kinder. Yes, Kinder, go ahead with your submission.
Yes, sorry, please. My question is based on the previous one when we were doing the group data, the group data. You talked.
Kinder, we are far away from that. So going back will end up confusing some people. Yeah, any question on what we are doing now? So anytime I ask a question on a topic, please ask your question. Don't wait for us to start a different topic, finish it before you come and ask previous question. That one you end up confusing the class. Yeah, any other question? Okay, so I'm moving on to the next point. Measures of central location. Measures of central location. So we've skipped the measures of the shape of distribution. We are looking at the measures of what? Central tendency or central location. Okay. Then we'll look at variations secondly. Then we will come to look at the shape of the distribution. Okay. Because these two has a relationship. Okay. Which will help us to also find the measures of the shape of the distribution. Okay. So let me clear the screen. Please be attentive and ask the questions at the right time. Okay. So some of the key measures of central location, like I said, are the mean, the median, and the mode. Now, how do we get the mean? We have different type of means. We have weighted mean, we have arithmetic mean, we have geometric mean. But for us as engineers, we usually make use of the arithmetic what? Mean. Okay. Now the notation for the arithmetic mean is mu. And it's written as mu, like you are seeing here. Okay. This is a mu. Okay. Good. And the formula, like you can see, is sum of all observations from I equals to 1 to n over n. So technically, this is from I equals to 1 to n over n. Okay. So an example for that would be, I wish you could write the formula down. So put down the formula. Put the formula down. So now let's look at an example. So an example will be it says calculate the mean of the set of numbers 3, 4, 3, 6, 7, 2. So this is on group data. Okay, anytime we are given on group data, the formula says just sum up everything. Okay, just sum up everything and then divide by what? Divide by the number of data or observations. So we have 1, 2, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So your n is what? Is 7. Okay, good. So all you're going to do is to add up everything. So that will be mu will be 3 plus 6 plus 7 plus 2 plus 4 plus 5 plus 8 over 7. And when you do that calculation, you should get 5.0. So do that calculation at your end. Let me be sure you understand it. Okay. Yeah, 5.0. That's okay. Yeah, Moses, Michael, Tutu. Yeah. So it's quite simple to find the arithmetic mean. Just add everything and divide by the number of what? Observations. Now, moving on, we have, let me just clear the screen. Yeah, so for large data sets, okay, what we do is with group data. For group data, what you do is we look at group data. So what you do is you find the class midpoints. Okay, you find the class midpoint because they are in class limits. So you find the class midpoint first, which will give you your x values, and then multiply with the frequency. If you remember, when we're doing that, we had a frequency and then the class limits. Okay, so that will start from, we had 18 to I think 28 or so. Okay, so what we are saying is before you can do any calculation, because these ones are in intervals, okay, you need to find the class midpoint. And the class midpoint is just halfway between these limits. Okay, halfway between these limits here. So in this example, halfway, let me change this to the midpoint, x. So halfway between this limit will be what? 18, 28 over 2. Okay, so 18 plus 28 will give us what? 46 over 2, which will be what? Which is 23. Okay, so that will give you the class limit for this class, which is 23. Sorry, the class midpoint. Then for the next class, it will be what? 29 plus 39 also over 2. Class midpoint just means add the lower and the upper limit and divide by 2. Okay, so when you do that, you get 33. You can calculate it from your end and see. So calculate it from your end and see whether you are getting it. Please make sure you are working. Okay, can we move on? I didn't get any feedback in your chats. Please calculate and check whether you are getting the midpoint. Okay, thanks for the correction. Very good. That's why there's always a need for you to also to work it at your end. Okay. So we now understand how to get a midpoint. Now moving on, we want to calculate an example for group data. So we have group data here. For the previous data, no, this is another data set altogether. So you have data from, so the class limit will be given in this data here. Okay, what is happening is, let me just do this. So in this data, you will not be given the midpoint. You understand? It will not be given. So you only be given the, in exams, you only be given the class interval and the frequency. So you will have to find the class midpoint first, which will be your what? Your X, okay? Before you proceed with the calculation. Yeah, Abe. Yeah, Abe. Abe, go ahead with your submission.
So please, I wanted to ask, how did we get the midpoint? How do we come about the 18 and the 28 and then the 29 and then the 35? I don't know where from that.
Okay, so your question tells me you were not here when we did first the frequency distribution table, because we all know where it came from. So if you were not here, we have another table here. And I'm saying that in exams, you'll be given the table like this, your class limits, and then your frequency. So what you have to do when finding the class midpoint is just to add the lower limit here to the upper limits, okay? The tip, add the lower limits to the upper limits and divide by 2. So that will be 34 plus what? Plus 43, okay? Divided by what? Divided by 2, okay? That is how you get it. So 34 plus 43 will give you what? 77. So 77 divided by 2 will be what? 30 what? 35, okay? Point, I think, yeah, that will be 70. So do that for me. That will be 30 what? Then you get 37. 38.5. Yes. So 38.5 will give us, yes, 77. Thank you. So 38.5. So when we divide, we get 38.5. Then you do the same for the other classes. So the next one will be 44 plus 53 divided by 2. You understand? When you do that, you should get, I think you get 48.5. Okay. Thank you, Salim. Then the next one will give us 58.5. Next one will be 68.5. And so on and so forth. Next one will be 78.5. Next one will be 88.5. And then the next one will be 98.5. Okay. So if you are doing the calculation at your end, by now you should have verified the first and the second to know how it's being done. Okay. Then once you have your class midpoint, the next thing is to find the fx, okay? Because the formula says, the formula we saw earlier for the mean, says you have to what? We have to multiply f, each frequency, with the midpoint. Then we sum up everything, okay, over the sum of all the frequencies. So we have to go back and then multiply each of the frequencies with its corresponding what? Midpoint. So that will be, for the first one here, this will be frequency f times x, okay? So that will be f is what? 2 times x is what? 38.5, okay? So when you calculate that, that should give you the 77 you have here. So verify that for me. Then the next row, that will be 5 times the midpoint, which is 48.5. That should give you what you are getting here. The next one will be what? 12 times 58, okay, 0.5. So anytime you multiply the frequency by the midpoint, you should get the fx, okay? So do those calculations and be sure that you are getting the correct answers. Okay, I hope we got that clear. Have we all verified? Okay. So once you are done, the formula says you have to sum up all of your f times x. So you're going to add 77. So it will be 77 plus 242.5 plus 002 plus what? All the values there till you get to the last value here. Okay. So plus what? 98.5. Okay. So you sum it and then divide by the summation f. That's the total frequency. Total frequency 2 is obtained by summing this. So this 2 plus 5, 7. 7 plus 12 is 19. 19 plus 18 is 37. 37 plus 10 is 47. 47 plus 2 is 49. And then 49 plus 1 will give you 50. Okay. So when you sum the whole numerator, you get this value here. This is the summation fx. Okay. This is summation f times x. So you divide summation f times x with or by what? Summation f. Okay. And that should give us 3315 over 50, which will give us 66.3, approximately 66 books. If you have any question, you can ask. If there is any question on this, you can ask. Yes, Sammy. Yes, Sammy Nkrumah.
Please, I think my network went off, so I didn't get the whole, this part, the main of the groupings data.
Okay, the video will be available later for you to look at it. Azuma.
Well, the reason the point X.
Yes.
Why is that one also sum too? Or that one doesn't? You don't submit that one. You don't sum that one.
You mean
the yes the
no,
class meets point the
yes.
X.
You will not sum that.
Hello.
Yeah, hello, Azuma.
You don't sum that.
Yes, you
Yeah,
don't.
so you don't sum that. Okay, thank you.
There is only one way left for you to save the Queen's life, my king. She must be brought to her senses.
Yeah, any question? So, Sammy, you take the video in class next week. We still have a lot to do. Okay, I think we're okay with this. Sammy, if you have any other question, type it for me. Just send me on the chat. Okay. Yeah, so let's move on. So we know how to find the mean for ungrouped data and the mean for grouped data. Now I'm going to move on to how to find the median. Now, when we talk about the median is always the middle number, middle observation in the data. The middle observation. When I say middle observation, I just mean the middle data when you have arranged, okay, in ascending schematically. You understand? So the middle value, the central value, is the median. So, I'm just introducing something, and I thought I saw somebody's hand up. Good. So essentially, if it's a middle value, then 50% of the data will lie on the left of the median and the other 50 on the right. Okay. Now let's see how to find the median for both odd and even numbers. The steps are as follows. Yes, Engineer Samoa, you always add and divide by 2. Midpoint just means middle. Middle means you have to divide by 2 to get the middle point. Okay. So we always divide by 2 to get your median, your midpoint. Sorry. Okay. Now, Dennis' hand is also up. Yes, Dennis.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
If you say you do the class midpoint, if you don't add it together, if you don't submit it, how will you find for the arithmetic mean?
So if you don't what?
If you don't submit the class midpoint,
Yeah.
and you have been asked to find the arithmetic mean, how will you find it?
You are supposed to find from the steps.
Hello, sir.
Yes, I've gotten you. Let me just explain.
Okay.
So these are the steps. You are first supposed to find the midpoint. You are supposed to find your midpoint first. So the midpoint will be the x. Do you understand? Then after that, you multiply with your f, the frequency here. So when you multiply f and x, you get this. Okay. So the x will help you to get the product of the f and x. So in the formula for the mean, mu says it is summation of the product of f and x over summation of the f. This is the formula. Okay, so you first find your midpoints, then multiply each midpoint with their corresponding frequency, and then sum it up. So the summation here is this. For summation of f of x is this. And the summation of f is what? This. Okay. So that will give you the final value. So I'm not saying you should not calculate your midpoint. I'm saying that you need the midpoint to multiply with the frequency and get your fx. That is what I've been saying all this while. Okay. Yeah, so let me move on. I'm going back to the median. I think I've seen a chart. Let me address that. Okay, says thanks. Yeah, so I was on the median. I would say the median is exactly in the middle of the data. Now, these are the steps in obtaining the median. For every median, first arrange the data in ascending order. Okay, when we say ascending order, we mean 0, 1, 2, 3. The number is increasing whilst we go on. So that is ascending. So you start from the smallest to the biggest number in that order. Then the next thing is you obtain the median position or the position of the median using the formula n plus 1 over 2. Okay, so once you found that position, you can then identify the data which corresponds to that position. Okay, for the median, sometimes you have two observations. So in that case, you have to add them and divide by 2. Okay, especially when the data sets are even. Okay, so let's try an example. We have the first data here, which is 27 observations. Just a minute. Okay, so we have these observations. Like we said, step 1, you have to arrange in ascending order. So you arrange the whole data like you are seeing, 2. There is 1 2 here. There's another 2 here. There is a third 2 here. Okay, so you need 3 2s. So 2 2 2. The 2 appeared here. It shouldn't be here. Okay. So we have 2 2 2 3 3 3 4 4 4 5 5 5 5 6 6 6. So you arrange the data in ascending order. Then when we counted, they are 27. So your n is 27. Okay. So we said you find a position using the formula n plus 1 over 2. Please follow carefully. Just follow the steps. When we finish, then you ask the questions. If you're asking the questions whilst I'm explaining, you surely skip some points. So just listen carefully and follow. When I'm done, then you can ask your question. You can't listen when I'm talking at the same time. Okay, Kinder, this time I didn't ask you to write the steps. I didn't ask you to write the steps because we are a bit behind time. Okay, so we have n plus 1. So that will be, your n is 27. So the median position will be 27 plus 1 over what? Over 2. So that will be 28 over 2. 28 over 2 will be what? The 14th position. Okay, 14th position in the observation. So that will be the second step. If the 14th position, then you go to the observations and then look for the data you have arranged. Okay, and then look for the 14th position. So that will give us, when we come here, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4th position, this is 5th position, 6th position, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, and then 14th. So the data, the observation, or the data in the 14th position is the median. So this value in the 14th position is the median. Okay. Very good. So the 14th position is 5, okay, which is the median. Okay, good. Then the same way, if we had this time our observation is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So n is what? N is 10. Okay. So our median position will be 10 plus 1 over 2. That will be 5.5. Okay. Don't forget it's a positional, it's not a figure. So what we are saying is the 5th position, and halfway between the 5th, 0.5 is half. Okay, 5th position and halfway between the 5th and the 6th position. So this is what we have. First, we need to arrange the data. Let's not forget. So in ascending form, we have 2, 3, 4. I hope you are with me. 5. I'm seeing 7. I've seen 8. I've seen 9. I've seen 10. I've seen 11. And then I've seen what? I've seen 12. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. So that is that's step 1, ascending order. Step 2, we've looked for the position. So we come to the 5th position. This is 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th. Then halfway between the 5th and the 6th. So if we are looking for halfway, then it means you have to add, anytime you are looking for middle or halfway, you add the 2 and divide by what? 2. Okay. So if we are looking for the median is halfway, is the mid of those two values. So that will be what? That will be 7 plus 8 over what? Over 2. Okay, which will be what? So the median is 7.5. So in this case, your median is 7.5. Is it clear? Yeah, Lawrence.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, please go ahead with your submission.
Sir, okay. Once again, sir, I thought finding the median, the n plus 1 over 2, I thought because of the number wasn't an even number, that is why we supposed to had the 1. But I don't understand why the 10 is already an even number. So you can divide it directly. But adding the 1, can you please explain more?
The steps were very clear. You find the
Yeah, I understand.
yes. So the steps were very clear. It says that find the median position using n plus 1 over 2. I didn't say when it is even or when it is odd. I said find the median position using n plus 1 over 2. Okay, you have moved to the next level. So some of those things that were taught, when you have even, do this, when you have odd, do this, you have to drop them. You are the next. So when you come and meet new knowledge or advanced knowledge, add to it. So be it even or odd, just use the same formula. And then if it is 0.5, 0.5 means halfway. So you adapt to it. Who else has a hand up? Is it the same, Lawrence? Okay. Okay. Any other question? Any other question before? Yeah. I think Engineer Samuel. Yeah, Engineer Samuel. Engineer Samuel, please go ahead. Oh, Asama, we are not getting you now. Okay. Why not type your question for us? Okay. Type your question for us. Oh, we can't hear you. Okay. Any other question? Any other question? We still have some few minutes. Yes, 7.5, that's the median. There's nothing else to calculate. So the steps are just 3. Arrange the data, find the median position, and then locate the median in the arranged data. That's all. Okay. I think it's clear. Now, I'm moving on. We've looked at 2 examples. So we can also find a median for group data. Okay. We can also